and then you go to 3 miles, but you have to slow down a little bit because, again, it's a longer distance. So with the Centerpoint program, when you finish Awakening Prologue, you go to Awakening Level 1. You are going into a mid-delta with the end of the dive and with the immersion. And then after you've spent several weeks doing that, you take that immersion soundtrack, set it aside, and use the immersion 1.5, which goes deeper into delta. Then after several weeks of that, you put that aside and use the immersion 0.5, which goes even deeper. And this is kind of like the running faster and faster. So that's kind of what the process is like, is that you are taking yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into delta at a given carrier frequency until you have created the entire neural network that you need to handle that. Then you go on to the next one, and then the neural network expands even more, and that process just keeps going until, and the only reason that we have 12 custom-made levels instead of 30 or whatever is because we get down to carrier frequencies that are too low to reproduce. We get down as low as we can go, and that's as far as we can go with it. Luckily, long before you even get to the end, you don't care anymore anyway. But most people start this program with a feeling, and you can check this out for yourself, that, God, there's something about me that I've really got to change. I'm dissatisfied with who I am. In fact, some people, it's so severe that they're saying, I don't like myself very much. And sometimes people aren't willing to admit this. They realize this later, but I don't like myself. I really don't like other people that much, and actually they don't like me that much. And I don't really like the world. There's a lot wrong with the world. And there's this real dissatisfaction and this real strong pull that I've got to get from where I am now to this better place that I've heard about. For me, I read all these spiritual books that talked about enlightenment and all this stuff, and I thought, wow, that sounds a lot better than what's happening to me now in my life. And being sort of an achiever type, I said, well, here's people laying out a roadmap how to get there. I'll just do what they say, and I'll get there. And so, people come to Centerpoint and they're dissatisfied with themselves, dissatisfied with their life. They want to get from point A to point B, and they want to get there as fast as possible, which is why people call up and say, if I do this while I stare at a candle flame and with a triangle on my head, or a pyramid on my head, and tap on my heart chakra, and will it be faster? If I do it 18 times a day, will it be faster? And everybody is concerned with how fast can I do that? I've got to get to where I want to go really fast. And I empathize with that because it's exactly the way I was. When you get to about, as I've said, purification 1, 2, 3, right around in there, people start to say, you know what? I'm fine. I'm okay. Everybody else is okay. The world is okay. And really, the world and other people haven't really changed very much. You've just changed, and everything seems different. And so from that point on, people are not saying, oh, I've got to change. I've got to get to this other place, because they already feel really content. But at that point, people have had so many adventures in doing this process and following this path that they say, God, I wonder what's around the next corner. I've just got to see where this goes. This is so fascinating what's happening to me, and I never would have believed this could happen to me. So they keep going from that point on, but the motive is different then. It's not, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I've got to change. Now, it's interesting to me in my quest to try to reconcile kind of the Eastern metaphorical, philosophical explanations of spiritual growth with the Western, scientific explanations. That as I was figuring out all this stuff about carrier frequency and so on, There is an explanation that directly parallels this in most Eastern philosophy schools, particularly the Hindu and Buddhist schools, but also, if any of you have read the Don Juan books, the Carlos Castaneda books, there's bits of this in those books too, and I'm sure there are in, certainly there is also in the Chinese Taoist system. What these systems are saying in general is that your level of evolution has to do with the vibration of your energy field. And that vibration is carried in a series of channels in what some systems call the subtle body. And that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of these branching channels in the body. I believe that the Hindu and Buddhist systems say there are 365 million of these branching channels, which are called nadis, N-A-D-I. And this is the same channels that they talk about in the Chinese system as being the acupuncture meridians, except that the acupuncture meridians are the more gross, larger channels, and that from there they branch into smaller and smaller channels, which are just too small for anybody to, hit with one of those acupuncture needles. So for thousands of years they have been saying that there are these channels of nadis in the body, and that your vibrational energy is carried in these channels. And then they all come together in these plexes in the spine, which are known as the chakras. Initially, they say these channels are clogged up with all, now this is a technical term that you'll want to remember, they're all clogged up with the karmic goop. all the stuff, all the limiting beliefs, all the stuff about I'm separate and I'm not okay and there's something wrong with me and the world is a dangerous place and all of that stuff. All that stuff is embedded in these channels, they say. And because they're all plugged up with this stuff, they are tight. And just like a tight guitar string or a tight violin string vibrates to a very high frequency, these nadis also vibrate to a very high frequency. Now, as you do your spiritual practice, whatever it happens to be, as you meditate or whatever, you begin to purify these nadis. The stuff in the nadis begins to be released. And as that happens, the nadis relax a little bit and they loosen. And the vibration that they're carrying goes down. And as you continue the spiritual practice, they continue to loosen and continue. And so your energy field, the vibrational energy of it, decelerates and slows down. And as that happens, you feel more at one with everything, you feel more relaxed, and you're less caught up in all this dualistic drama of I'm not okay and everybody's against me and all that sort of thing. The enlightened master, they have always said, sitting there with the disciples, is emanating this energy that they call Shakti in the Hindu and Buddhist systems. And he is vibrating at this extremely low subsonic kind of very low carrier frequency because he has purified all this stuff out of his nervous system. In fact, one point of view is that the more you get rid of this stuff, the more the energy of the universe, the vibrational energy of the universe, can kind of be channeled through your nervous system. And that the reason that the enlightened person feels this unity with the entire cosmos is because he is so purified that the entire energy of the cosmos can flow through him. And that's why he feels this identity with it, this oneness with it. Not too many years ago, I read something which I wish I'd hung on to because I don't remember where it is, about how they had actually measured this energy in some Qigong masters, and that they were emitting this extremely low frequency energy that is, this Shakti. They really measured this Shakti. So really, one way to look at what's happening with the program is that we're exposing your nervous system to a certain level of frequency. At the same time, we're putting it in these brainwave patterns which synchronize the brain,